Good morning, Patriots. I hope you have a nice, warm, hot cup of Joe this morning to go. I'm going to glare on my glasses. I don't ever notice it until I look up at the camera. How y'all doing today? It's Mike Cook coming to you live from Central Missouri. It is approximately 8:30 a.m. on 2/11/21. The year that everything gets blown to smithereens. I don't know. I haven't decided what to call this year yet. We're still working on that. But they got the House impeachment going on. You have all kinds of things going on. It is bitterly cold here in the central United States of America. I just checked my app. It's 10 degrees outside with snow falling and on the ground and all that. You know, I heard rumor that one time in history, there was this great ball of fire that hovered in the sky. And it brought light and warmth. It's only a rumor. I wish it was true. We could use some of it right about now. I don't think we've seen that in days. But anyways, it is what it is. It's February. You got to live through it. Got to get through the winter to come to the spring. You know, spring brings happiness and joy. So I hear. We will find out. So, as we start this day, I hope you all are having a wonderful day. Please like, comment, and share my videos. Facebook is actively squashing me, and so is YouTube. Go over to Rumble and check me out over there. All my videos get loaded up to Rumble. It takes half the day to do it, but it is what it is. I'm on MeWe and Parler and Telegram and Gab. I just don't mess with them all. I don't have time. I mean, all that, one thing at a time, right? So, look, if you don't share my videos, I try to be uplifting. I try to give hope. There may be some folks out there that are really downcast. They're really lost. They really think. I mean, it looks pretty bleak out there right now as you're watching the faux president sign executive orders, 50 some odd of them, giving away the storefront. I mean, he's giving away everything. He's turned it all back over to China. He's taken our electrical grid, giving it back to control of China. Now they're talking about war with Iran. They're talking about war with Russia. They're talking about over there in Myanmar, putting sanctions on them. There's all kinds of stuff going on. We got to have a good war. I mean, how do you profiteer off war if we don't have any wars? So we need a good war. And of course, you got the impeachment hearings going on in the Senate. And, you know, I have breaking news here from CNN. They're giddy with glee. As you listen to this breaking news, I want you to hear this real quick. So here we go. Play this real quick. It's breaking news, just breaking.
Out front tonight, the breaking news, a clear and present danger. Democrats painting a damning picture of a lawless president during a pivotal and contentious 10-hour impeachment hearing, which just wrapped up moments ago. One witness telling lawmakers the evidence is, quote, overwhelming. At times. Frankly, watching this, the hearing became a complete circus, a partisan circus.
A complete circus. That's right. Breaking news. Breaking news. The hearing is just overwhelming evidence. The only problem is that clip was from 2019. You just fit it right in. We're just repeating the same old stuff over again. And then, of course, I tried to find current clips of what's going on in the Senate hearing. See, they got a problem. They got to cram about 20 minutes of evidence into 16 to 20 hours. And they're just repeating the same thing over and 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 over. Trump bad, Orange Man bad, Trump bad, Orange Man bad. Yeah, he said bad things, and we're going to take it out of context to prove that he said bad things. We're just going to edit out the peaceful part because we don't want you to hear that. And we're going to put it in with a video, and we're going to make it sound like he said that. But if you go back and watch the actual video, you find out that that's not the case, that they're lying. And they're doing all kinds of things. They're putting up tweets that they've edited. They're all kinds of crazy stuff that they're doing that is not entirely accurate. Of course, you know, here's a Time magazine article that wants to talk about impeachment. And my computer's being slow, pulling it up. Come on. Here we go. And this is Time magazine. Now, this one is dated yesterday. It's hard to tell sometimes. Impeachment managers laid out their efforts to subvert the election. Each escalating as Mr. Trump's desperation to retain his grip on the Oval Office grew. With each step, the manager said he laid the groundwork for a violent mob attack on January 6th. The first act of impeachment, the impeachment man said, dates to the campaign. President, it totally changed where I wanted to be. Anyways, moving on. Let me skip that. That's not where I wanted to read. But anyways, he started putting the seeds. He started putting seeds to get some of his supporters ready for saying that we could only lose election if it was stolen. Well, yeah. Says over the course of the day, impeachment managers raised the role racism played in the riots, as well as the preceding months. They showed scenes of Confederate flags inside the Capitol. Oh my God, it's a flag. We're all going to die. Which historians said did not happen even in the Civil War. Aghast. The managers also identified rioters who had links to white supremacist groups, including the far-right group, the Proud Boys. Ooh, that's bad. You know, the Proud Boys was started by a black Cuban. That's why they're so white supremacist. Known for endorsing violence. Yes, they like to beat up on the fascist anti-fascists. When the fascist anti-fascists start beating up on innocent people, the Proud Boys come in and beat them up back. But, you know, we can't have that. We can't have all this, you know, we got to let these people protest. You know, they're in their mostly peaceful protests where they're only burning down parts of the city. Yeah, that's okay. Its members became loud supporters of Mr. Trump after the former president refused to denounce the group during the debate with Joseph R. Biden, a junior. I didn't know he was a junior, but how about that? So they're all upset because the Proud Boys, aghast, the Proud Boys, you know, but they failed to mention this guy for some reason. Yeah, the founder of the far-left organization, Insurgency. Do you think maybe the Insurgent USA group had something to do with the insurgency? Yeah, but he's one of them, so we can't talk about that. He was arrested and released without bail shortly after. He was there. He's on freaking camera with a CNN reporter talking about how they can't believe they got in. It's his camera. He set this whole thing up. He organized it. It was him. Can't have. I mean, he's on our side. We can't do that. That would be bad. We can't. That's how I was. Jeez, that's not the way that's supposed to work. He's on our side. So here's another one. This is a little conversation going on Just the News, and of course they bring up something about an FBI agent being involved. Listen to this.
Going to be, I think, a lot of big questions for the FBI as an institution when you look at the role they played in the Russia collusion hoax, given your reporting about the origins of the Christopher Steele dossier, about all of those FBI things. Yeah. The same FBI now apparently missing a lot of these big cues about what was going to happen at the Capitol. But it sounds like there may also be another FBI connection here. Yeah. You have in your article, as you do with all of the articles, you have a dig-in section where you actually allow your readers to see the work that you do, and you've got in there an indictment, a charge against one Thomas Caldwell. Tell us about Thomas Caldwell.
So he's one of the 12 people that are charged with conspiracy. What does that mean? They were planners. They were conspiring long before the day of the event. He's a Virginia man, Northern Virginia. His lawyer made a filing in court late last night. Yeah. We have not been able to get the FBI to confirm this, but in this filing, the lawyer says, my client worked for the Navy for a long time. He had a top secret clearance for many, many years. And from 2009 to 2010, he worked for the FBI at the level of section chief. That's very senior. That's like the equivalent of a special agent in charge of an office and headquarters. Very senior job. The idea that an FBI man was somehow involved in this, if that turns out to be true, it's going to turn the scrutiny even more into what the Bureau was up to and why it might have looked the other way or missed some of this information.
Yeah, and this is a huge potential development.
Yeah, right.
We need to verify this.
That's right.
But one of the individuals charged with conspiracy, charged with, again, our viewers know this, for working with others to plan this, was, his lawyer claimed, someone who worked at a senior level in the FBI less than a decade ago.
Exactly. It's a real shocker. And again, he said this under penalty of perjury, so the lawyer could be held accountable if it's not true. We're trying to dig in and find out about it. There's another moment today, I think, that also resonates with this line of reasoning that's now becoming apparent to the American public. And that is, the president's lawyer said, all the people that have been charged with doing something terrible at the Capitol that day, rioting, assaulting police, not a single one of them has been charged with conspiring the president. Why is that? Because no one can prove the president encouraged him to do that. Right. I thought that little moment where, hey, federal prosecutors have had a month to suggest the president was involved in this and did not. That was a very dramatic moment that, common sense jury goes, yeah, that's a good question. Why hasn't the president come up with these documents? The answer is, it was all pre-planned well before the president's speech.
Yeah, so there's no evidence of that. And then again, you've got the story out about the evidence that is emerging of the pre-planning. Thomas Caldwell, one of the individuals charged with conspiracy, and according to his lawyer, a Navy veteran, top secret security clearance. And let's break down for viewers, a section chief for the FBI, equivalent of what we'd call a SAC, a special agent in charge, which would be, if there's an FBI field office or a Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms field office in Chicago, the SAC would be the person in charge of that entire office. It's a fairly senior position in the FBI. At least that's what the lawyer is claiming.
Yeah, and it's a rare moment when someone just jumps from the Navy or any civilian or other sector to a SAC job or to a section chief. So normally you have to work your way up, agent all the way up. So there's something unique about his entrance into the Bureau. Doesn't mean anything. He was a disabled veteran, so he may have gotten some preferential hiring. But whatever the case is, it's a very rare moment for someone to come in, and then a few years later, be identified as one of the perpetrators. And the FBI not tell the court about it when they indict the person.
Very interesting. So this guy was an FBI agent. He was one of the instigators of the insurrection, because, that's what they kept saying. Why? I don't understand. I have a question. Mr. FBI agent, what's your relationship with Hillary Clinton or the Hillary Clinton Foundation? I don't have any evidence. I'd just like to know the answer to that question. Mr. FBI agent, what's your relationship to Jim Comey, James Coppert, Barack Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer? I don't have any evidence. I'd just like to know the answer to that. I'd like to call him up before this hearing and ask those questions. If I was in charge, that's what I would do. Have you ever had a relationship with the Clinton Foundation of any kind? Inquiring minds want to know. I don't know. I bet none of you know. I find it curious that one of the lead instigators of this whole event used to work for the FBI. Who are you working for now? CIA? What organization do you work for now? What combination? State Department? Very interesting, isn't it? But moving on from that, because, that's about all we got to talk about, because there ain't much going on. It's just the same old story. Repeat. So the which one should I go to first? The Joe Biden, earpiece Barack Obama administration has put sanctions on Myanmar, because the government of Myanmar has been overthrown by the military. And why? Because the Dominion voting machines they had over there completely fraudulently stole the election for the leadership, which you see in this picture, screen right, you have Hillary Clinton down at the bottom with the president, or whatever they call them down there. There's Brock and Hillary sitting there with the leadership of this country. Excuse me. I got an upper respiratory thing going on. It's not the coronies. It's a coldies. You know, the normal, typical kind. You get this time of year. There's Barack Obama giving her a big smooch. Isn't that interesting? Now, back in November, see if you look at the top there, it says, I think it says November 9th. Mike Pompeo says he has concerns with Myanmar's election. We'll closely monitor. Why did he have concerns? Because they were using the Dominion machines with Smartmatic. That's why. And they had the same problem we did, and that was that they're corrupt, crooked, controllable. You could cheat with them. And that's what they did. And when the military over there found out how it was cheated, they seized control. And they launched a military coup. But is it a coup? Is it a coup or a counter coup? If somebody orchestrates a fraudulent election, now, Facebook, YouTube, I am theorizing here. This is a story I'm telling. This is a hypothesis. Okay? If somebody was to say, set up electronic voting systems that was to say, weigh the votes so that every vote counted for one candidate for 75% of the vote, another candidate for 25% of the vote, if they was to weigh those votes, and then, you know, as it's going along, pre-program votes to be in the machine already for one particular candidate as opposed to another. Say in a large district of 1 million people, it's pre-programmed to have 35,000 for one particular candidate as you turn the machine on. Or let's say that these machines, you are able to influence the outcome, the counting, as Stalin would say, it doesn't matter who votes, but who counts the votes. If you were able to influence the counting of the votes on these machines through the internet from a foreign government or foreign agency or some foreign place, if you were able to do that, would that not be a coup to begin with? So that when the military rises up and says this was corrupt, this was crooked, somebody from outside set this up and we don't want this, and takes the country back, that's not a coup, that's a counter coup. A perfect example of this is when the Muslim Brotherhood under the Arab Spring, which was a CIA operation under Obama, when they took over Egypt through so-called elections, and then they started hammering the people, they started making more burqas, they started mass executions, all kinds going on. Finally, the military had enough, and they stood up and took that country back and said, no, this is not how Egypt is going to go. And they took the country back, and you know, they might not be perfect, but they ended up having elections, and they went a different direction. They got rid of that, and they went with this. So, again, this is just a theory. This is just hypothesizing. This is just a figment of my imagination, a logical thought process. I'm not saying anything like that would ever happen in the United States of America, because we know that our elections are clear and clean as the wind-driven snow because Barack Obama told us so. How about that? But that's what happened in Myanmar. So the Biden, I keep saying that, Obama, that earpiece, I don't know. The Biden administration has now sanctioned the military government that's in control, getting ready to set up new elections, because they want them to release their political prisoners and turn it back over to the leaders who use Dominion and Smartmatic to, you know, weigh the outcome. But there's nothing to see here, folks. It's okay. Moving right along. Don't look over there. Don't look over there. Nothing to see here. Why are they having impeachment hearings in the Senate to remove a president that's like retired and like not there? Isn't Joe Biden president right now? Why are they doing that? Huh. Well, it's a lot of unanswered questions, isn't there? I don't know. Let's move along. Move along. So Mark Cuban, you know, one of the guys on the Shark Tank, owns the Dallas Mavericks. He says he's not playing the national anthem at the Maverick games. And of course, the NBA turns around and says, yes, you are. And he says, no, I'm not. And they say, yes, you are. And he says, no, I'm not. Yes, you are. No, I'm not. Anything you can do, I can do better. Anyways. So the Dallas Mavericks aren't going to play the national anthem. Let me tell you something about the NBA. See, the NBA sold their soul. Who did they sell their soul to? The Chinese. Why? Because there's a billion people over there and they wanted to enter that market. Let me tell you, you hear all this all the time with Apple and Google and Microsoft and Facebook and GM and General Dynamics and all these companies, these big, huge, Walmart, all these big, huge companies entering into agreements with the Chinese because they want to get in that marketplace because it's the biggest burgeoning marketplace in the world. It's where all the money is going to come from in the future. Why is that? But that's where they want to be. Okay, so here they are. They're moving over there. They're moving over there. They're moving over there. And the Chinese say, sure, come on over. We'll build you a plant. You can make your little Apple phones over here. And they'll say, sure, we'll build you a plant. You can make your Nike tennis shoes over here and put Air Jordan right on them. And we'll provide you with labor. It's easy because all we do is round up all these Christians. We shove them in this building over here and we let them see the light of day once a week. And they can sit there and make your Nike tennis shoes for pennies a day. But in order to get that, we need to work on an agreement, see. We need to make you an offer you can't refuse. See, because in order to get that, what you got to understand is that businesses don't exist in the communist Chinese government unless they're part of the communist Chinese party. So you have to agree to become a communist Chinese or Chinese communist in order to access that marketplace, because capitalism. Because see what we're going to do is we're going to send all our corporations over there, and then they're going to be so influenced by American capitalism, they're going to turn into giant capitalists, and we'll all be friends. That we have to go into bed, Eric Salwell, with the Chinese to do it. We have to become part of their system. We have to be seduced by their system of government. Seduced. Like whore. Like a mystery. And so all these companies, like Mark Cuban's company, are intermingled and tied together with the communist Chinese. So when the communist Chinese say jump, Mark Cuban says how high. Because he's got all that business over there and they could shut it down today. They got him. They own him. Along with all these other companies. How did Microsoft didn't, but how did Facebook and Google and Amazon and all these companies become the biggest billion-dollar richest companies in the world, like overnight, just like bang, bang? They haven't turned a profit yet. They're billion-dollar companies. How'd that happen? Could it be that a foreign government with lots of cash was buying and manipulating the stocks of these companies? Nah, that can't be it. That can't be it. There's got to be something else. But how did they get so rich so fast? You wonder why they're toting the line? Wonder why I'm flying this flag right now? Because who owns us? Who's our daddy? Who's Barack Obama and Joe Biden's daddy? Isn't it interesting? All these companies are bowing to the whims of the red Chinese. Who care about you Americans. And then you got companies like Elon Musk who want to, he's got all kinds of visions. I used to think that guy was a nut job, but hey, he might be a visionary. He's kind of cool now. I kind of like him. You know, he's kind of a maverick, kind of doing his own thing. But his company, SpaceX, wants to hire Americans, so the Justice Department is suing him for being racist against immigrants. But they left out the part that he's an African American. That's right. Elon Musk is more African American than Maxine Waters or Al Sharpton or Jesse Jackson or any of these people. I don't think they've ever been to Africa. Elon Musk was born in Africa. But his skin's the wrong color because you're a racist, because you're looking at his skin. He is an African American. I mean, he was born there. He's more African American than I'm Irish American because I ain't never been to my ancestry home. Wouldn't even know how to understand what they were saying. They're speaking some sort of English. I'm just saying, just point it out. So on that note, and to finish up today, silver is still hovering around 27.22. Huh. That's weird. You know, they're only a week delayed in getting your silver right now on some of the exchanges I looked at. And you know, you can sell a silver, a silver round on the street for about $50. But the market's so low. Why is that? Yeah, doggone futures markets, you know, they're futuring this thing to death. They're dumping so much cash into that. And I don't know why that is. Something about economic collapse and destruction of the Fed system and the fiat currency and all that stuff. Okay. Have you considered? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not giving you any companies because no one is paying me to, and I am not going to mention anything other than this is what I do. I just recommend pre-circulated, not pre-1964 circulated coinage, American coins. Everybody knows what they are. They're 90-ish% silver. Have a few of those laying around in case a hard time's coming. Because, you know, the current administration is doing everything they can to destroy this economy because the Chinese. I mean, no more Pledge Allegiance because the Chinese masters told me so. But he did say that he'd be willing to play the Chinese national song or whatever you call it over in China when he plays in Shanghai. What a patriotic fellow that guy is. If I ever get a business together and go on Shark Tank, I'll look straight at Mark Cuban and say, I don't want your money. I'll go with Mr. Wonderful or one of them other guys. Just saying. I just wouldn't do business with him. For all the tea in China. Literally. So consider having a pile of something other than American dollar bills. In fact, I would consider having a pile, I would consider having some cash on hand. I mean, I told my sister, I said, how much money would you need to survive, not paying any of your bills, just survive for 2 weeks? Cash, not silver coins, just American greenbacks. I said, go draw that out of the bank and put it in a shoebox under your pillow or someplace and keep it safe. Why? What happens if there is an economic crunch? What happens if silver goes to $100 an ounce? What happens if you wake up in the morning and you slide that little piece of plastic into the machine and it says, not working? Or you go to the bank and it says temporarily closed. You go to the gas pump and they're not taking cards. What happens if the internet goes down for a few days? What happens if the electricity gets turned off for a couple days? In your neck of the woods. Having a little cash on hand wouldn't hurt. Having, a handful of this where people could say, oh yeah, I know what that is. That's worth something. The other thing that you may consider doing is I was going to bring some. I invested in a freeze dryer, and my wife's having a ball freeze drying this and freeze drying that. It's kind of fun. Things taste good when you freeze dry them. It's a different sort of thing, but they're also shelf stable for a long period of time. Have you considered Do you have anything on the shelf that might last if the power goes out for a little while? I mean, the government recommends that you have 48 hours for emergency of shelf-stable food and water. Do you have 48 hours? I was talking over the summer with a friend of mine, and she's a well-to-do person. She lives in a decent neighborhood, drives a nice car. It's got a little spending money in her pocket. She's doing all right. And I said, well, what happened if, because of this pandemic, this was back when it was really hot and heavy, they shut everything down for a week. Where would you be? She goes, oh, I've got a couple of packages of instant oatmeal and some granola bars. I said, that's going to get real sucky real quick, wouldn't it? She goes, that's not good. There was a reason why grandma did all this canning. You go over to grandma's house and she had all this canning. There was a reason why grandma did that. Because grandma, at least my grandma, lived through the Depression. She knew what it was like not to have. She wanted to be prepared. See, we've lived our lives. We've never been prepared. I mean, I bet you there's someone here going, I'm prepared. I got 12 years. Okay. Not talking to you. All right. But I mean, as a society, we live in the now. Walmart, 3 days supply, and it's gone. Right? Your grocery store, 3 days supply, and it's gone. Your bank is 2 or 3 days supply of cash, and it's gone. Everything is what they call, I had it in my head and just went away. I'm talking about on-time delivery, where everything is timed out. There's not too much, there's no warehouse somewhere. It's just instant delivery. Bam, bam, bam. As you need it, it comes. Don't you remember last year at this time, the great toilet paper panic? And you couldn't buy any toilet paper? Wouldn't it have been nice if you had a couple packages of toilet paper shoved in a closet somewhere just in case of emergency? Because when you got to wipe, it's an emergency, right? What about later on when that panic spread to canned foods or meat? I'm just saying, if you haven't thought about putting your family in position, the government says 48 hours. I'd say a couple of weeks at least. Bag of rice, bag of beans, a couple oxygen absorbers into a plastic bucket. Excuse me, that'll get you by. Lots of videos on YouTube on how to do that. Figure out how to can. It's a real simple, easy process. Some of it's really good, especially if you look in there. You got the jellies and you got the sauces in there. Looks good to me. There's companies you can buy it already pre-made, self-stable food. Some of it's pretty good. Some of them will give you free samples. I'm not saying I'm not saying going all Mormon and having 30 years because that just makes you a target. But what would happen if, and I'm just talking about right now here in the Midwest, it's like 10 degrees for a high today. And it's nasty and it's cold. And what if the power goes out? What are you going to do? How are you going to cook your food? What are you going to do? I'm just saying. What if you're on the West Coast and there's a hurricane? East Coast, West Coast, there's an earthquake. East Coast, there's a hurricane. What are you going to do? You ever thought about that? Have you prepared? I know I'm preaching to choir to some of y'all, but some of y'all, this might be new to you. That's why I'm kind of hanging around on this concept. So have a little bit of coinage. It's easy to find. It's easy to buy. You can buy it on the internet. Well, you used to be able to. Good luck with that. Have a little bit of food just stuck away somewhere. Something to get by on. I'm not talking about eating like a king. I'm talking about just in case. And you can cycle that stuff through and use it up. I mean, just go buy some canned raviolis or something. And that stuff will stay for 10 years or so. Just do something. Don't be stuck. Don't be a victim. Be active. Do something. Because who knows what tomorrow will bring. I'm prepared. I'm prepared that I believe that God's going to move. He's going to create his miracle, and the miracles are going to happen. And I believe that this sham that has perpetrated our country will not stand at some point. But that prophecy of Kim Clement also says, humbled you will be humbled and yet some more. But that yet some more stuff really kind of got me kind of, what does yet some more mean? I don't want to go through yet some more. I don't. So be prepared. I mean, it doesn't cost too much. It doesn't hurt nothing. You can always eat it later. You can always spend it later. Hey, and if you buy silver now and a little bit of silver now is $27.22 and it shoots up, you can sell it and make a profit. I'm just saying. I mean, it's at record lows and the projected. They said it should be around 100. So if you buy it now and it goes to 100 and you unload, hey. But if you buy it now and you throw it in a pile, that stuff will always sell. These collectors buy that stuff all the time. I retail it out of my store. At least I used to. Kind of bought it all, threw it away. I digress. That's another story for another time. You guys have a great day. I'm going to jump off here. Please share my videos. Share them. No one's watching them because Facebook ain't sharing them. They won't let you hit the follow button. They won't let you ring the bells. All kinds of stuff. If you're on the UB2B, subscribe, ring the bell. If you're on Rumble watching this video, please follow me and hit the little Rumble button. I really appreciate it. You guys have a great day. I'm going to jump off here, go read the comments. And all you trolls out there, you should probably purchase some silver, have some cash on hand, and put a little food in your cupboard. I'm just saying, troll. Because, you're living down there in Florida or someplace along the East Coast there, and there's alligators on one side and sharks on the other, and crap hits the fan. Where are you going to run to? Here in the Midwest, I got like 30 farmer friends. I can go over and get hog. I can go over and get a beef. I'm good. Couple chickens. We're good. Eggs. I got everything I want right close by. I got some Amish and some Mennonites that live right down the road. I got honey. I got flour. I got everything I want right here. You guys live in the big cities, though? Yeah. Got an exit plan? You guys have a great day. I'll talk to y'all later.